Hag is mad. He's angry. The Manchester United players are mad and angry. It is full-on redemption night and bounce-back ability time for Manchester United tonight against Porto. United were delayed last night in their flight into Porto for the game in the Europa League, which meant that the press conference was delayed by a considerable amount of time, maybe 3 hours or so like that. So all the quotes from Ten Hag's press conference, updates on injuries, players that are unavailable for Manchester United, how Ten Hag sees what is ahead of him tonight in this Porto game. We're going to get into all of what Ten Hag has said as well regarding where he feels United should be going off their performances rather than where they actually are going off the results. Lots to talk about. Maguire and his situation at Manchester United. Now, there is an absolute ton to get through on this busy match day. We have got a poll up right now. Will Manchester United bounce back this evening? Get into that poll. Make sure you get into the live chat and get your comments in as well. Obviously, make sure that you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe as well. We went over 60,000 subscribers last night. Thank you, everybody. Bringing you all Manchester United news thick and fast and daily, and it is completely free. So make sure that you subscribe and hit that bell notification to miss out on nothing to do with your loved Manchester United. Will we bounce back tonight? No, that is the killer question. Oh, I don't know if my mic was actually on there. Sorry. Was my mic on? I hope it was, and I hope you heard all of that. If not, let's just get on with the show, shall we? Okay. Right. Manchester United, Erik Ten Hag landed late last night. Anthony was at the wheel of the aeroplane. It was an ongoing joke last night because apparently United's flight was doing circles around a certain part of Portugal because they couldn't land the plane. Obviously issues there, and United were considerably late. Then Ten Hag rolled up for his press conference. No Dalot, who was expected at the press conference. It was just Ten Hag answering questions straight to the media last night, and in buoyant sort of, let's say, typical Ten Hag bounce back, durable mood. Ten Hag, obviously, he's backing himself. We went through the Sky interview the day before. I think that was pretty much the main part of this week. He didn't really need a press conference yesterday, Ten Hag. He's just doing his necessaries for UEFA and everything that's needed for these European away games. I'm sure he would have preferred to go right over to the hotel, but Ten Hag landed in with the squad. The squad went right to the hotel. Manchester United's manager then faced up to the media and came back with some sharp-firing sort of remarks and comments on what's actually going on at Manchester United. Obviously, off the back of the interview, what Benny McCarthy has said as well, lots of people asking questions around what happens next with Manchester United. Again, are you scared for your job and certain things like that, as you'd expect the media to go into. Because Sky jumped the gun really with it, and that timed interview that they had pretty much laid everything out on the table, and Ten Hag was pretty much reiterating himself in what he said in that Sky interview. So really the questions were just focused on now with Manchester United and how important this game is coming into this one against Porto, needing a win. What happens if we don't win? And Ten Hag pretty much fires back, look, we are mad. We're angry about the game at weekend. We have to bounce back. It's his favourite phrase. Everyone can bounce back. Obviously, Manchester United, they're going to need to. He is going to need to. I was listening to Chris Wheeler's reaction to it and what he was saying from the Daily Mail after the press conference last night. And he was saying, look, this is a must-win for Erik Ten Hag. There's no other results this week apart from 2 wins that will keep him in the job. Now, Chris didn't pretty much say that, but you can see he's alluding to that. It's all about Ten Hag. Yes, this Manchester United team need a win, but we will go on. Everything will continue with United, but this is more about the manager and what's needed result-wise. I don't even think people are looking at performances right now. They're just looking at results. So when Ten Hag says, again, and he goes into everyone being on the same page, in the same boat with Ineos and everyone in the same direction, there is a full-on understanding. Communication is daily between the owners and the structure at the football club and the manager and Ten Hag and his coaches. He brought in his new coaches. He brought in the new members of staff. We have changed the squad. We have rinsed the squad out of certain players that weren't needed. We've brought new younger players in. He was just going over everything that he said in the Sky interview and what he's been going on about pretty much all season. When the chips are down and he's got his back to the wall, he comes out fighting, saying, look, everyone at the club needs to take responsibility. I, the manager, first of all, have to take responsibility. And it's on me and the staff and now the players to react and bounce back in this game and try and get the results moving in a more positive direction. And you, of course, would expect him to say that. It is all in the games right now. Words are cheap and nobody's falling for anything in terms of Ten Hag saying we're going to react, the players are mad, everyone's up for this, we're going to bounce back, we have to show. Like, no one really cares. No one cares at all. All that's going to stop any of this negativity around Manchester United and Ten Hag at the moment is results on the pitch and performance on the pitch. I don't even think we're going to get performance. I think it is all just about results. I think that's what we're waiting for right now. It just comes down to where Manchester United are standing. And it is an absolutely huge, monumental 4 days for the football club. Everything is going to be, let's say, covered now over these next 4 days. So he's going to get the result tonight. He's going to have the post-match press conference after it, whether it's a positive or a negative one. Then he'll do his pre-match press conference for Aston Villa on Sunday. It's going to be quick fire. United obviously travelling home after the game tonight as well to try and get back and prepare. They're only going to have a quick turnaround, obviously, probably 1 day training before the game against Aston Villa. You only have to look at how Villa performed last night, having an extra day's preparation compared to Manchester United as well. The omens don't look good when you look at everything that's going on right now. And this team, this squad, there needs to be a massive, massive reaction from these players in this game. They need to do everything they can tonight to win the Porto game. Forget about Villa. Let's just look at what's happening with Porto, because if we don't, then that's one game we could have probably won easier. It's hard to say. Like, Porto away is a tough game. I'll talk about that more later around the lunchtime show building up to the match tonight. By the way, link in the description for our Watch Along platform for the game. We'll be live before the game here on YouTube as well, so make sure that you're tuned into that. All information will come throughout the day. Make sure you're notified by hitting the subscribe button and the bell notification button of that content coming out. But when you look at Porto, it's not an easy game. It really isn't. But you have to win tonight. If you win tonight and then you don't get a good result against Aston Villa at weekend, then you're looking at it not being as bad. But if you do not get the result tonight and you're looking too far ahead already to that Villa game, then it is going to be lose-lose. And United, and specifically Ten Hag, are going to be up shit creek without a paddle. There's no other way of putting it. He needs to get all focus on this game tonight. Preparation, not ideal. Obviously, luckily, United had training yesterday at Carrington and then flew out, so they've not missed out on any training. Today is just normal full preparation, which is why Dello wasn't part of the press conference last night. All the players went to the hotel for full-on recovery and rest time ahead of the game. So Manchester United's preparation will be as normal today, so no excuses there. But really, when you look at the squad, Mason Mount is the only player that's not travelled out that was available at weekend. Obviously, we discussed it yesterday. He's got a knock and he's got concussion protocol to deal with, so he wasn't even in contention. Dan Gore, like we reported yesterday on the show, is now taking his place in the squad, and that's brilliant for Dan Gore. Great news for him, making it back into the matchday squad, the first team matchday squad as well. So that's excellent news there. But Ten Hag also went into what he sees as a little bit of an overreaction from people and how things could be a little bit different. Different being that Manchester United are in a position where their XG is third best in the league. It's not third best in the league at all. It's fifth best in the league when you look at the table properly. So he isn't staying up to date with that sort of information and sort of just jumping and clinging on to any positive that he can, even though it isn't as positive. But fifth, not bad. But when United are 16th for expected goals against, it kind of counteracts it. And when you put all of the stats together, you balance everything out, it leaves Manchester United going off XGs and XGAs and everything like that, which I think is complete and utter bollocks anyway. I'm not really a massive stat person when it comes to that sort of stuff, but modern day managers are clinging on to that now. Pundits, analysis, they're all clinging on to everything like this, seeing that it is a positive. Well, you balance them both out and you put Manchester United's XG and XG against together, we're sitting about 10th in the table. So really, there's no excuse anywhere across the board. United are just out and out underperforming. Yes, we may have created more chances to the detriment of maybe leaving holes in midfield and conceding more chances again. 16th. Someone was telling me and bigging it up that Manchester United had actually shored themselves up. in defence. But for United to be 16th in chances in projected XG against, that means that we're conceding chances again all of a sudden. And obviously the Spurs game would have had a massive impact on that. But again, when you put Liverpool into the equation, you put Spurs into the equation, whether you're down to 10 men or not, look at the chances United conceded in them games alone. And then when you've got the quality opposition that United have got to come up against yet this season, and we know who that is, and you look at the other teams that we've played this season, Manchester United are drastically underperforming this season, and there's nowhere to hide from it. And when I say redemption night in Europe, in terms of redemption, how long has that period built up to that redemption night been? And that's the problem you've got. And that's where the patience is not going to be available for Manchester United's players and managers right now. Everyone's in on the players. Everyone's talking about underperforming players. Everyone's talking about Ten Hag's future. It's all because it's just been a continuous pathway of falling off standards and negative results. You only have to go through the back end, second part of last season to the start of this season. It hasn't helped. And you can look at all the stats, you can look at all the players, you can look at all the injuries, you can look at everything and put it together. And the whole argument is a massive underperformance from everyone at Manchester United. It is tonight, again, and it's sad to say, and this is why, and I'm not going to go on about this too much because I've done loads on it all the way through the week. It's match day, and it's time to get behind the team. But when you look at Ten Hag and why I think he's not going to survive at Manchester United, it's because of that. It's because of the continuation and downward trend of everything falling off. It's not just now. And again, we're sat in a position where we're actually saying, second month is going into the third month of the season already, that we're just now looking at results. Let's just get points on the board. We're supposed to be seeing progression on the pitch and performance at this stage, not clinging on to desperation results to keep a man in his job. And everything just points in the one direction, which is negative, and everything going down in terms of standards, down the table, results, Europa League. I mean, God, man, we cannot afford to not be in it. I said it yesterday, and we'll talk a bit more about it now. Like 15 points is seen as that sort of area of what you would need in the league phase of the Europa League to get through into that top 8. So top 8, you go automatically through. If you finish in 9th to 24th in this league, then you go into a 2-legged playoff, which is played out in February. So Manchester United, if they don't get in the top 8, and they will qualify in the top 24. I mean, if we don't get in the top 24, then I don't think anyone's even arguing about how Manchester United need to be moving forward with a new manager. I could argue with the players as well, but really the book is going to fall with Ten Hag. If he doesn't manage to get this United team into the top 24 of this league, then yeah, sling you up completely. I don't think even the biggest Ten Hag inners could argue that point. But if United don't qualify in the top 8, we will be playing constant European football all the way through the year. And I'm saying that if United win the playoff. So the league phase runs through to the end of January. So we're still playing European football in January in the league phase, the initial league phase. And then you have playoffs in February if you don't make the top 8. And then in March, the last 16 kickstarts again. So this will be the first season ever in Premier League history where football in Europe has continued every single month of the season. And you're talking about fixture pile-up, you're talking about pressure on players, you're talking about players not being able to perform at the right level because they're being overplayed, a manager that doesn't rest certain players, which we know about. You can see where I'm going with it. It's going in one direction, which isn't a good one. And ultimately, United just need to get into that top 8. It starts tonight. We need a win against Porto. Forget about your XG. Forget about your XG against. Forget about all of that crap. We need to start seeing some mentality monsters on that pitch, and we need to start seeing a change when players believing in what Ten Hag's message is. I don't think it'll happen, but I'm here to support that change if it comes, and hopefully they can find it, because all I want to see is United win games. I don't see it being a long-term future with Ten Hag, as you all know. But to balance things out, just to give some context to why I'm in the position and why I'm of the opinion I am, it's just a continuation over time. You can see it, and you can't argue against it. Everything is going down, and it needs to stop. And it either happens with this so-called bounce back, and everything kickstarts from here. Can't see it. I think something will happen international break no matter what happens in these 2 games, and I'll be surprised if it doesn't. But really, all we want is this team to be winning, and that's all that matters tonight. I don't even give a shit about Ten Hag. I don't care. I just want to see United players celebrating goals and winning the game. That's all I care about. And I'm not confident. I'm not. I want them to show to me that they are the players that can get United back to winning ways. I want to see them convince me. I'm sick of finding excuses. I'm sick of reading people making excuses for this team and saying this is better there, that's better there. No, it's not. There's only one stat that matters, and that's your standing. And that's in the leagues. And we're in 2 leagues at the moment, and we are 20th in one and 13th in the other. The great Manchester United. Stop it. Change it. Give yourself a bit of a shake-up, man. Slap yourself across the face. Do whatever you've got to do and realise who you're actually playing football for, or who you're managing, or who you're coaching. Everyone's levels need to go up. This is an absolute joke, and people are like reacting to this like this is just an overreaction. Like, are you serious right now? Where are Manchester United? What do we stand for? Are we this actual massive footballing juggernaut that is supposedly the best supported club in the world, the biggest club in the world? Or are we just going to be dropping down to, oh, this is acceptable, this is just the way United are right now? I feel like it's 2 generations of fans fighting against each other at the moment. And the standard fans that have seen the glory years, even seen the negative years before the glory years, they're the ones that are probably a little bit more balanced in all of it because we've seen both. I mean, I've seen just about enough of poorish football, not drastically poor football in the 80s. And then I've seen the glory years, and now I've seen this drop-off since 2013, which is just unacceptable completely. From the team that we had for the drop-off to where we are now, the downward spiral, it all stems from the top, obviously, from the Glazers, and now they've run the football club. But now there is a new structure in place. We're hoping that they try and keep them standards up and start moving them standards up. And it comes by making big decisions. And I feel like this next 2 weeks, we're going to see some big decisions. We'll see if Ten Hag can make it when he's picking his teams and how we actually react on the pitch. Because it is all about reaction tonight, isn't it? Interesting. I'm going to come into the chat in a minute and get all of your comments, so keep them flying in, everybody. Get them likes going up. Let's see if we can get 200 live likes. We're at 121 live likes. Let's get up to 200 plus, please, everybody. Please like the video, subscribe, like many of you have done. We are the 60,000 crew right now. We hit that last night. Thank you, everybody, again. Massive attempt, massive effort from everyone. Love it. And we're going on. The next one is 70k. And then next year, we're hitting that silver play. We've got to get 100k next year. Keep it going, everyone. Absolutely massive. Love you all. Get into the comments as well now. But Harry Maguire, Ben Jacobs was talking. You can see the tweet at the bottom of your screen there. Ever since losing the Manchester United captaincy, Harry Maguire has still been acting like a captain and trying to keep everybody unified. Do you know what? I haven't really... last season, Harry Maguire turned it around for me. He literally turned it around last season for me, Harry Maguire. In his attitude and how he just approached everything. Yeah, he's still not the right standard of player. And obviously this summer he will end up leaving the football club. But do you know what? As a professional, can't really fault him at all. And do you know what? He does look and does come across that way at training. When you get up close and personal with Harry Maguire, he does look like one of the leaders within the group. Sadly, he hasn't got the quality that Manchester United need. He has done his job, and he's done his job as a squad player. But right now, Manchester United, I've been saying that. I'm talking all the talk here about Maguire not being good enough for Manchester United. Really, when I look at it, I could make myself look like a complete idiot here by saying, well, how good are Manchester United? I've just been talking about how crap Manchester United are this season now. The levels are dropping off. And this is without Maguire in the side. So, really, when you talk about things that needed changing, like Maguire wasn't good enough for United, we're still in the same position, even without Maguire. So, really, is there ground to actually start slagging Maguire off and saying he isn't good enough for Manchester United? Look, I'm actually happy that Maguire's there. Weirdly, just to have that experienced character and someone that people can look up to. Like, seeing pictures of Maguire walking out at training yesterday, it's sort of like there is actually a guy there who actually knows. Like, yeah, he may not have the quality to get to that level, but he knows what United's about. Like, we lost McTominay in the summer. And obviously, again, the argument is there about Scott McTominay's quality. Wasn't good enough for Manchester United in his performances, but he was a Manchester United man and he knew what it was to be United. We need more characters like that, and if we're losing characters like McTominay, it's good that Maguire is actually there. So in the summer, where we're all saying that it's time that this Deadwood and all these players that have been holding Manchester United back for years, and whoever they are, it's the same old story no matter what manager comes in, the same players are there. You do need a little bit of Manchester United experience within that squad just to sort of balance everything out within, because if you've got players coming in with a manager that's setting the standards that he is now, and these players coming in and listening to this manager say what he has about where United are at and now everything is okay, then where are them? Where are their standards walking into United? They don't know what it is to be a United fan or come up through the academy of United. I feel like we are losing what Manchester United are right now with this playing staff. It's like the standards are not good enough. It's all right talking about it, but you can just see it. It's time. We need to stop this now. And where Maguire is and what we were just talking about there with him is his quality probably isn't fully there, but at least he understands what United are. He is a United fan like McTominay is and like a few players coming through. They need to know. Like when I was talking to Nicky Butt the other week, like these players need to realise quick what it is and what it takes to be a Manchester United player. I feel like that has been lost. That has been lost through this Manchester United side over the last few years. And the standards are just dropping down, like it's not as important. That is the most important thing. Understanding the history of what Manchester United are and what we're built on. I think every single player needs to understand that. If they don't, then we are just stuck in this world of mediocrity, which it is right now for United. We are a mid-table team when you look at the squad and the players and how Manchester United finished last season and where we are now. We're a mid-table Premier League team. And some people think that that is okay. It's not. It really isn't. And you look at Ten Hag also talking yesterday about Luke Shaw. Luke Shaw, he should be available for the game after the international break. We don't know if he'll be available for the first game. It just keeps getting moved on and on and on and on with Luke Shaw. And again, this is something that everybody's clinging on to. Like the media keep asking the same questions. Luke Shaw, when's he back? Is he that important? I mean, Dalot is suffering right now. But can Luke Shaw play inverted midfield in Ten Hag's system better than what Dalot can? Has he got the energy? Has he got the reliability that Dalot has? I'm talking about reliability being injury-free and always available for Ten Hag and always available to learn and progress in that role, which I think Dalot has. Just, he is not a left-back and he hasn't been an inverted fullback / midfielder before. And he's learning that now. So he's sort of against himself a little bit by trying to master the left-back role with all the pressure that's on United and then trying to invert as well. Is Luke Shaw going to come in and play that better than Dalot? I don't think he is. So stop clinging on to Luke Shaw. Stop thinking that he is going to save everything all of a sudden. Again, it's going back to the injury excuse, isn't it? When Luke Shaw is back. The media probably bring this on more than what Ten Hag does with Luke Shaw. Like, Ten Hag doesn't want to talk about Luke Shaw. Stop asking the bleeding question about Luke Shaw, for God's sake. He's injured. He's not part of this team right now, and we're not expecting him to pull up trees and turn everything around when he comes back. We're building it up like it's going to be. And where I've not got excuses, where I have got excuses for Luke Shaw, I feel like he's really unfortunate because he is a good player. He's unfortunate with his injuries, but Luke Shaw still, like, the pressure on him when he comes back now, like, to just start hitting the ground running straight away, it's not going to happen. People need to let this go, and the media sometimes, my God, with that Luke Shaw bleeding crap, let it go. Ten Hag needs to move past Luke Shaw. Otherwise, he's going to be waiting forever and a day to get this fully fit squad, isn't it? Because Luke's not going to be fully fit for a full season, people. Oh, God, I think everybody knows that. Right, let's get into your comments. Please get your live comments in, everyone. Get into the live chats. Let's just scroll up a little bit here and have a go from this point. Mike says, I am sure there are direct flights from Porto to Amsterdam as well. It's not all bad for Erik ten Hag. £17.5 million to declare in customs, though. Jokes coming in the chat already this morning. Everybody is waiting for something to happen, it would seem. Or some people are. Gehan says, that's right, Adam. We are free falling with this manager. We are so bad. 2-8 seems impossible right now. 2-8 seems impossible right now. We need to get this manager out to give us a real chance in both leagues. What is this top 8? What happened to top 4? Europa League, Al. Talking Europa League with top 8. We need to qualify in the top 8 of this Europa League group league phase to actually qualify automatically for the knockout phases. Erik Ten Hag should take a leaf out of Ancelotti's playbook. Just stick to neutralising the opponents and win a shitload of matches. Neutralising them. Well, he's got a plan with his team. Obviously, he's got a better team. Last night watching Aston Villa, good God, I'm not even going into the Villa game at weekend, and people say all the time, like, concentrate on yourselves. There's no point in looking at everyone else. But when you look at the squads on paper of Aston Villa and Manchester United, and maybe wear red-tinted glasses when we're looking at this and talking about this, but you've got to look at both of them squads on paper and go that United match up with Aston Villa. Or do they? This is what we're arguing. This is where we're at as a fan base right now. Are we actually as good as Aston Villa, player for player, when you look at the players on paper? Have we bigged up our players to a point where we do believe that they are better than what they are? Are we just thinking because they're in a United shirt they're automatically better? This is what I mean by everything turning away. Do we have to accept that Manchester United are a worse side than Aston Villa now? Because when you watch the football, my God, yeah, we're miles behind them. Miles behind. When you go toe-to-toe with Bayern Munich and you beat them and are looking like now looking dead cert for automatic qualification in the Champions League top 8, and we're struggling to make automatic qualification in Europa League top 8, that's the standard. That there should be your guideline as to how far United have fallen and what needs to happen. Because Aston Villa are a million miles away from Manchester United right now. I think that Newcastle are, Chelsea are moving past us. We cannot stay still and accept standards forever and a day. There is transitional periods, but how long can a transitional period last before everybody is miles away from you? And then that gap is just too big. You cannot bridge that gap if you stand still. And accepting that Manchester United will get it right eventually, well, what is right? If we start playing well at the end of the season, but it's too late, and we don't make Champions League football, what are we going to say then? We've missed out. Everyone else will keep on improving. Like the longer you stay in one position and stay still and not get any better, the more teams will overtake you and start getting better themselves. No one's going to stay still, and United are falling behind everybody else's progression right now. That's the issue. That's the bigger issue. Because, yeah, we can get better, and it may look like we're getting better. It may look like we're keeping a bit more possession or being, at the start of the season, a bit more harder to beat, not conceding as many chances in the first few games. Obviously, that's been blown out the water now already. But what about the other teams? They're probably not conceding as many chances, but creating more chances. And Manchester United are just falling way behind everybody else. It needs to stop. And already, like I said, going back to the start of the show, we are in a position where we're now clinging on to just results instead of actually wanting performances right now. Brett says, I think that he should be gone even if we somehow manage to win these next 2 games. The players obviously don't buy into what he wants to do. Then next summer we have to get rid of the cancerous players. Who are the cancerous players, by the way, everyone? Who needs to go in the next transfer window next summer? Get into the comment section on that. Although we put most of the blame on Erik Ten Hag, we don't have a captain that can unite the players on the field like Robson and Keane. We need a true leader, but there isn't one in our squad. I think like Martinez is a leader. De Ligt's probably too soon for him, obviously. Obviously, you've got the likes of Dalot, you could argue, can be a leader. You've got experienced players there that can be Manchester United captain, and they can lead by example. It's up to Ten Hag to change it up, though, isn't it? Like Bruno Fernandes, look, Bruno Fernandes is that. He's like that Marmite, isn't he, at the moment? He's always been a Marmite player, even when he was playing great. But Bruno Fernandes is fall from real form or a complete fall off you cannot argue this either, has come under Erik Ten Hag. I don't want to necessarily say that it's all Ten Hag's fault, but Ten Hag made him captain. Ten Hag plays this system and puts Bruno in it every single week. Bruno Fernandes is a victim to this system. He doesn't fit. He fits in Portugal's team. He fitted perfectly in Ollie's team. He doesn't fit into Erik Ten Hag's system. But he keeps on playing him because of the numbers that he puts up. That's the problem I see. Ten Hag clearly, for Bruno, has not worked. And that's what I think people need to look at as well. Like, the system that Ten Hag wants to play doesn't suit a lot of Manchester United's so-called leaders / bigger players. Casemiro, Bruno Fernandes, Marcus Rashford. All of these players are falling victim to what Ten Hag's system is and what he wants to play. They just don't suit it. And that's not their fault. A lot of the time you could argue it's not necessarily Ten Hag's fault. He's got the squad that he's got. These are big players. And you try and find a way of getting them in. But he isn't adaptable enough to make it work for them and get the best out of the big players in this football team. And I think that's what a lot of people have been saying. Even the ones that are backing Ten Hag are saying, look, he needs to find a way to fit everybody in this team. It's not working. Brett says, shame it hasn't worked out, but it needs to change. Manager first and then get rid of the leaking, weak mentality players that we have been a cancerous influence on the squad. I think that was just the same off that back message I said a minute ago. Sorry about that. Gehan says, I really don't want to hear about Maguire. He is all about the money. I am looking forward to him leaving. He's a championship player. It's the manager that's making us look so crap. He's clueless. Mr. Peter says, watching United since the mid-70s, the last 10 years have been the same as that era. It took United nearly 30 years to win the league after Busby, so expect another 10 years of this chopping and changing. Another 10 years on the 10 years that's already gone. Bounce back? Question mark. For the umpteenth time, and the ball will keep on bouncing until he's fecked off. That from RGG67. Gray says it doesn't follow that because what went on in the 70s means it'll be another 10 years. Get the right manager, it can change in 3 years. Well, Ineos have said we're winning the league in 2028. Don't forget that. Like, that's pressure. That is serious pressure. We have a super chat from Marcus. Thank you, Marcus. Adam, what do you think about Benny McCarthy's alleged claims that Dalot and Bruno only players trying in training and in games stats? I touched on this yesterday. If you're going to use Bruno Fernandes, Cristiano Ronaldo and Diogo Dalot as the benchmark as to standards, then it's a high standard. Them three players are trained completely differently. Like, the other players could be training really hard and working hard, but they overtrain. Like, Ronaldo comes in 2 hours before training to get himself ready. There are players out there that are on a different planet. You can't get everyone training to the same level. And let's be honest, like what McCarthy said about Bruno Fernandes and Diogo Dalot, players that are training and giving more, are they not two players right now that a lot of the Manchester United fan base are slagging off? Does really working hard in training mean everything in football these days? I don't think it does. I think it's all about managing your body and knowing your body and its limits, and then having the mentality to handle pressures within football and be confident in yourself and enough in yourself to actually perform on the pitch at the highest level. And anyone can run around. I can go into Carrington and work harder than any one of them players. Doesn't mean I'm better than them players. Doesn't mean the system suits me better because I put in more kilometres in the training ground or on the pitch. Like, working hard is working hard. It comes as a staple. Like, everyone's got different levels of working hard. Everyone's got different bodies and capacities. And you have to adapt to every single player within your squad. It's the modern game. Working hard doesn't necessarily bring you success. It doesn't. That's a myth. And I feel like right now the proof is there in Bruno and Dalot. Yeah, they may work harder than anybody else, Benny McCarthy says. Are they performing any better than anyone else on that pitch right now, though? It's there, isn't it? You make up your own mind. I do understand it. Like, it must be painful when you do put the effort in, you do put the extra hours in, and the performance levels are not there. It's hard. It's a hard profession when you've got the scrutiny coming on your way. Like, obviously, I am not going to let them off the hook. Like, they paid a fortune. It's a great lifestyle, and they're doing what they love. But the pressure is there in their own world, isn't it, in footballers? And some will handle it better than others. It's the mentality. It's always the mentality. Don't care what anyone else says. You can throw your XG, your XGAs, you can throw your kilometres ran, you can throw everything out of the window. Technical ability, everything. Throw it all away. It doesn't matter. If you haven't got the right footballing IQ and mentality to handle pressures that come with being a professional footballer at the top level, skills and qualities go out of the window completely. Work rate goes out of the window completely. You can handle it or you can't. It's as simple as that. And at the moment, I just feel like Ten Hag's style of play and his system is bringing players down a little bit, and the confidence levels within this team, you can see it. We can't even pass the ball 10 yards. How many times did we kick a ball out of play at weekend? Inexcusably. It's like whenever anyone presses us, like someone said to me outside Old Trafford at weekends, Adam, I see what you mean now. When you're actually at the game, you can see these players melt. You can see what these players' reactions are, and you can see how they're struggling. Like, they just look shot of any confidence whatsoever. And that's what you're up against. That's the problem. But we will see, won't we? We have over 800 in the room. Thank you, everybody, for joining us on this morning show. Just over 200 likes. We hit the live like mark as well. Thank you, everyone. Make sure that you have subscribed as well. We have more people subscribing just on this video alone. Welcome to anyone who is a new member. Let's check our poll out and see where we're at. Will United bounce back tonight? Keep voting on this poll, everyone. 61% of you have said no, we will not bounce back. 39 saying yes, we will. We're expecting a reaction from these players. Obviously, there's more content coming throughout the day as well later on, so make sure that you're tuned in, everyone, later on. Let's get back into some more of your questions. This is your time now at the back end of the show to get your questions and comments in. Alan Hughes says, I used to work as an S&C coach in pro football and came to the conclusion that some players cannot sustain a high level of performance. The difference between the elite players who managing it is exactly it. Everybody knows their own bodies. Everybody knows what their maximum levels are as a player. It needs to be maintained. And I think the sports science side of things is coming into football more and more now because everyone is different. Every player is different. Going back to the old days even, there were players that trained really badly. You listen to reports, but you put them on that pitch on a Saturday or a Sunday, and they absolutely smashed it. It didn't matter how badly they trained or what work rate went in training or who they upset in training. Their mentality was a match day mentality. As long as they turned up on the pitch, what can a manager do? I don't feel like Ten Hag is judging players off what he sees on the pitch. I think it's coming from the training ground. And honestly, I don't really care what they do on the training ground. It's about being able to prepare yourself for the match day. That's all that matters. And Ten Hag's so-called team that he picks, I don't think is the right one for what he wants to do on the pitch. His system may work in training fine, and it may look good when there's no pressure on, but when you are on the pitch with them floodlights on or them cameras on you at a weekend, it's a different ball game. Completely. A lot of fans have emotionally checked out with this club now. Unfortunately, Malps, I think you're right on that comment. I think a lot of fans have actually checked out. Like, they're just not as up for games. They're not letting their emotions take over when the games are on. You can see it. It's just in the atmosphere at Old Trafford at the weekend, it was the same. It's like, oh, here we go again. There wasn't much shouting and anger. It was just like, here we go again. That's what it seems like right now. Like, the expectancy that this is going to happen is the scariest thing with Manchester United right now and how we're playing football. It really is. The Ten Hag inners owe an apology to all the people who asked for Ten Hag to be sacked in May, says Sanil. Joe says, I hope we beat Porto tonight because if we don't, I will say the words 100%. I'm thinking you're going to say Ten Hag out with the 100% then, aren't you, mate? If we use a process, a bounce back and trophies in a drinking game, we'd end up in hospital, says Cuban. Mike says, if anyone can remember the great strike What's that? You mean striker? Preben XR. I don't know who that is personally. We were a smoker and became a European champion. Right, the times have changed in terms of that. And old school players being able to treat their bodies differently to what the modern day footballer does now. No expectations, no disappointments. Works for me, says Stephanie. That's exactly what. That's what I'm talking about. Stephanie's nailed it there in one go, in one comment. The expectations are lowered. This is what I'm not having. I'm fighting it. But I understand people who have just dropped off. Like, there's only so much crap football you can watch before you actually just become numb to it and just have to accept it. I just won't. And that's what I'll keep fighting the corner for on this channel. And that's why everyone tunes in, because they want to come in and listen to someone actually fighting the standards corner for Manchester United. Well, that's what I feel anyway. And I hope you are. A lot of you come in just to enjoy and have a chat, which is great as well. But I'm hoping I'm sort of convincing you that standards have to be kept at this football club. And we've got to go forward and we've got to do more. It cannot just be accepted that this is how United are going to continue. But Stephanie nailed it. A lot of people are exactly in that spot right now. And a lot of people that I talk to are actually there in that moment right now. When you look back at empty, has done Ten Hag has been second rate. I think that was another typo there. Sorry. Timothy says Villa lost two key midfield players to injuries last night. If you want to hold on to that hope, I'd rather concentrate on Porto, mate. I'm not even thinking about Villa right now. Adam, did you see Alvaro Fernandez? And now we're crying for a left back. I always knew this was going to happen with Alvaro. I wasn't happy with the move in the first place, but it's gone. We can't look back now. Anurag says, can we get Jonathan David in January? Will be available for cheap given his contract is expiring. He can't do any worse than what we have right now. Look, I've been banging the Jonathan David drum for a while as well. I think he is a striker that just scores goals, who's got a high work rate, improves every single season, and is an out-and-out 9. And we need that. We need that goal scorer. By the way, I think obviously people picking up on the result last night in Real Madrid losing, which is quite big. Bayern Munich and Real Madrid both losing last night. Jonathan David, obviously, was the one who scored the goal for Lille in that one, and credit to them. Absolutely brilliant performance. Let's get through a few more comments. Super chat in from Block N2410. Why did I sign up for the cup scheme? I know, Manchester United have already taken another 200 quid out of my account already in the first 2 months of this season for cup tickets. Oh, God, it's painful, honestly. It is. You stand by them and you hope. It's the hope that kills you. That's what it is with United. Something's going to change on one particular match day. It has to. That's what we keep telling ourselves, don't we? Something has to change. We have to find that formula sooner or later. But no. It doesn't seem to be doing it. I will not give up on the standards. That's how I've been set at this club. I know we will lose tonight. The manager is cooked. I'm hoping the next will get us up the table. Cuban says, whenever I mention standards to people, they say, you think you should be winning the league. No, it means signing a manager and the players that can get you there. And Ten Hag is not it. I get that. People always shoot you down. You feel like you've got this God-given right to win the league every single... No. I just feel like United should be in around third or fourth place right now. We're nowhere near challenging for the title. Nowhere near Champions League level football right now. But we should be. The players are good enough to compete in these competitions. Not to win it, maybe. But still definitely to compete, 100%. So I'm looking at it and I'm saying, look, standards are standards. And no, we haven't got a God-given right to win anything at the top level. But for the amount of money that we pay as fans to watch this team, the amount of money pumped in to this team, we expect a lot more. That is a definite Wayne says, how long are we saying it, Adam? How many managers do we have to go through? Players that need to be dropped. We can't keep blaming Ten Hag. Big players that need to be gone. Big players are going. We got rid of 17 players in the summer. It doesn't happen overnight. The problem you've got is Ten Hag is into his third year now as well. So we have to treat him exactly the same way as we are treating some of these players. And when it comes to these players, the same old players, who in that starting lineup are we talking about from the Spurs game and the other games so far this season? What are we talking? The ones that come out and spring to mind to me are the likes of Bruno and Rashford. You've got 9 other players in that side that have come in after all of the so-called these players keep throwing the manager under the bus category players. Do you know what I mean? Like, who? The toxic players. Who are the toxic players? Is it Rashford? Just Rashford? Is he going to take the flak for all of it on his own? Is it Bruno? They're the ones that come out to me. And you look at the rest of that team at weekend. Dalot, probably the one player that's improved slightly. Yeah, he had a bad game, a shocker, against Spurs at weekend. But he's playing out of position and he's playing a new role while out of position by Ten Hag and being thrown under the bus by the system, in my opinion alone. So then you move across. Centre-back, Martinez. Best thing that's happened, according to United fans. De Ligt, leadership, great signing. Some saying it's the signing of the summer. Go across to his right-hand side, Mazraoui. Quality right-back for me. I think he has been the signing of the summer. Ten Hag's goalkeeper is in goal. So, in terms of the back 4, 5 there, who is the toxicity? Who are the bad players? Then we're moving into midfield. Don't even go there with Kobbie Mainoo. Agate, just been brought in 2 minutes ago, who we all crying out for in the summer. So what are we into there? There's 7 of the team, which are all pretty much new and are turning a page over. So let's go into the midfield. You could argue Bruno, like I said, even more. Like, that is one player that's been here a while. Then you're into Marcus Rashford. And then you go across the rest of the front line. You could even add in players that didn't start the game at weekend, like Ahmad. You've got Garnacho and Xerxes and Højlund and Ahmad. Are we saying that they're toxic players? We were pinning these up as them 3 players sat on the billboard as the future of Manchester United only 4 months ago. So where are the toxicity? Where is the toxic players? Is it just Bruno and Rashford? If that is the case, then 2 players out of that starting lineup against Spurs, 9 of them other players are pretty much players that Ten Hag has bought or brought through. So who is letting Ten Hag down? He is bringing these players through. And when people say to me, it's happening all over again, nothing will change, well, these players are here. The whole bleeding squad? Are we giving players 1 year now and then calling them toxic as well? You can see where I'm going with it, can't you? Like, where do you draw the line? Where is the line when it comes to these toxic players? I just don't get it, and I'm not going to argue that point. The issue that we've got this season isn't the toxic players. It's fitting players' best attributes into a system that doesn't work. And I just don't think he can get around it. I just don't think that Ten Hag has got it in him. And let's not forget, Ten Hag has been here a lot longer than a few of these players that are actually starting in this team this weekend. Go through it there, that whole team. Like, Ten Hag has been there as much as, Lisandro Martinez. He's been there before Mazraoui, De Ligt, Onana. He was in before Garnacho, in before Kobbie Mainoo, in before Xerxes, in before Højlund. Like, Ten Hag has been here longer than a lot of them players that were in that matchday squad. So, come on. Like, think about it. There's a lot more to this. And when you want to start blaming the players, you have to also look at the manager, especially when he's into his 3rd year now. I just want to balance it out. Yeah, the players have got a lot to do with this, but so too is the manager. And we can't keep using the same excuse, changing managers all the time. It's not going to work. Look, if you have to sack manager after manager after manager until you get to the top and you get to the right decision, so be it. That's modern football right now. The old days are gone. They're completely gone. Unless you do what City did, I'm not even going to go into it because I'll probably get in trouble in getting to where they are. Or you get lucky away with the likes of Jurgen Klopp, then it's non-existent. Long-term serving managers don't exist. They don't. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows it. Look at all the big clubs and look at the tenures. Unless you're actually winning everything like Zidane or Ancelotti or Pep, that's it. You drop away. Okay, I think I'm going to round up the video there. We went a little bit longer this morning. It's match day, so we're getting ourselves in the mood, aren't we, people? But thank you so much for joining us on the show. Comments bang on. I can feel it. I can feel the pain. I can feel the arguments. I can feel the determination. I can feel the standards dropping. Well, trying to be kept. There's all sorts going on. I'll be back later on this morning. Later on around about lunchtime in full-on build-up to match day mode. So stay tuned. Make sure you've subscribed. Make sure you've hit that bell notification button. Give the video a like on the way out. We should get to around about 300 if you do that. And I will see you all later on. Have a fantastic day, everyone. Up the Reds. It's match day.